Hi and welcome again to Excel's Master Course. In the previous session we have talked a little bit about date and time functions in Excel. In this session we will complete it. Are you ready? In this session you will learn about those date and time function, month function, day function, hour function, minute function, weekday function, network days function. Let's talk about month function. Month. It is a function that returns the month of given date. Let's do this in Excel. For example, I want this column to have the values of months of this date column. So we gonna call it month. An equal month open parenthesis. Specify the wanted cell. And I am gonna use the autofill for the other values. Now let's talk about day function. Day. It is a function that returns the day of given date. Let's do this in Excel. For example, I want this column to have the values of days of this date column. So I am gonna call it day. An equal day. Open parenthesis. And select the cell. And now autofill for the others. Now let's talk about hour function. Hour. It is a function that returns the hour of given date. Let's do this in Excel. I am gonna type date data based on the standard date time data type in Excel to make it easily recognized for Excel. I am gonna call it random date. And I am gonna scale it using autofill. I want this column to have the values of hours of this date column. So I am gonna call it hour. An equal hour. Open parenthesis. Select the cell. Then autofill for the others. Now let's talk about minute function. Minute. It is a function that returns the minute of given date. Let's do this in Excel. I want this column to have the values of minutes of the data in this date column. So I am gonna call it minute. An equal minute. Open parenthesis. Specify the wanted cell. And autofill for the others. Now let's talk about weekday function. Weekday. Returns order of the weekday of the week from a cell representing a date based on specified point. Let's do this in Excel. For example, I want this column to have the value of order of the weekday of this date column. So I am gonna call it weekday. An equal weekday. Open parenthesis. Specify the cell. And after comma. It wants E to specify which is the best order for me. I think that number 2, which begins from Monday to Sunday. So I am gonna type 2. And the autofill for the others. Let's do it again with this data set. Now let's talk about network days function. Network days. It returns the number of network days between two specified dates. Let's do this in Excel. For example, in this data set I want to know how many work days in it, or in other words I want to know how many days except the Saturdays and Sundays. So I gonna call this cell the normal work days. And in this cell equal network days. Open parenthesis. The first date is here. And the second is here. In this session and the previous one you learnt what do you have to learn about date and time function in Excel as a data analyst. Thank you for pay attention. Don't forget to subscribe and apply notification and like the video. See you in the next session.